Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because, well, you want to get smart fast and hopefully without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Exactly.
You've shared a really interesting source with us. Daily Sex Bible Inspirations and Techniques for the Best Year of Sex Ever. Now, for you listening, this isn't about adding more pressure, right?
No, not at all.
It's about finding those genuinely surprising and maybe immediately useful insights, things that can spark more intimacy, more pleasure. That's really our mission today.
Precisely. Think of it as us, sifting through all the details for you. We're pulling out the ideas that really stand out.
The ones you can actually use.
Yeah, the ones you can use and maybe help you see how they might fit into your own life, your own relationships.
And this daily sex Bible, it's quite something. It's laid out like a daily dose of inspiration, 365 tips, techniques, all organized by theme across 52 weeks.
A whole year's worth.
A whole year. So for you, it covers basically everything from like the first sparks of flirtation all the way to, well, more adventurous ways of connecting. The sheer breadth is impressive.
And what's interesting for you to maybe think about is how that structure kind of mirrors life, doesn't it? Relationships.
How so?
Well, by dedicating specific days to different aspects of intimacy, the book gives you a framework, a way to weave these things into your week, maybe, rather than sex being this isolated thing that only happens when, all the stars perfectly align.
Right, not just waiting for the perfect moment. So our goal here for this deep dive is really to pull out the ideas that seem, I guess, most relevant, maybe easiest for you to incorporate.
Yeah, actionable things.
We want to highlight how much the book seems to stress variety and the importance of communication underneath it all, even just understanding different ways to approach things and capture that spirit of exploration it seems to have.
Trying to give you a good sense of the range, really, the options, the insights it offers.
And as we dig in, it's important for you, the listener, to remember this is about expanding your understanding, maybe sparking some curiosity.
Definitely. It's not us telling you what you should be doing. What makes for the best year of sex ever is, well, it's going to be totally unique to you and your partner.
Okay, so let's unpack this themed approach then. For you listening, the book structures the week pretty distinctly. It starts with Flirtation and Foreplay Mondays. Makes sense, right? Kick off the week playfully.
It's a nice tone.
Then there are Quickie Tuesdays, for those times when, let's be honest, life just gets busy.
On reality for most people.
Oral Wednesdays, pretty direct there. Big O Thursdays, focusing squarely on orgasm. Then get your freak on Fridays, exploring maybe a bit beyond the usual.
Venturing out a bit.
Sex Ed Saturdays for learning, understanding, and finishing with Spiritual Sundays, aiming for that deeper connection.
What's fascinating for you, maybe, is how it breaks down sexual expression into these different parts. It suggests intimacy isn't just, one single thing.
Right.
It's more like a collection of interconnected experiences, each one offering its own value, its own potential for pleasure in your relationship.
Exactly. Like, take Flirtation and Foreplay Mondays. For you, this isn't always about leading straight to sex, is it?
Not necessarily, no.
The book suggests these could be small things, subtle acts, little teases, keeping that erotic energy sort of simmering all week.
Keeping the spark alive, even on a Monday morning.
Yeah. And then you have Quickie Tuesdays, which really acknowledges that reality, that time constraint that so many of us face.
Right. And Quickie Tuesdays, for you, isn't about settling. It's not less satisfying.
It reframes it.
Yeah, exactly. Reframes it. Suggests that it's about being efficient, intentional with the time you do have. The book actually offers, a bunch of specific quickie techniques, which might be helpful if you've ever felt like, spontaneity and speed couldn't really go with satisfaction.
And it really does give practical ideas. There's Sex Your Brain, that focuses on using mental triggers.
Like what?
Well, things like playing Truth or Dare to maybe uncover new desires, or just relying on those, quote, tried and true sex tricks to get in the mood fast. It really highlights the mental side, doesn't it? Especially when time is tight for you.
That's a great point for you to consider. It's about consciously, shifting your mental gears, ramping up arousal quickly.
Yeah.
The book also suggests things like maybe a partner taking a few minutes alone with a vibrator, maybe, or watching something erotic, individual things that can then fuel a quicker connection when you actually have that moment together.
Then it gets into some very specific techniques. There's one called the Hand Job Quickie, hers. It even suggests optionally adding a vibrator for extra intensity, which you might find interesting.
Oh.
And then there's this one, the Fusion Tantra Counter Quickie. Sounds intriguing. It involves a specific seated position on a kitchen counter, actually, to really maximize sensation and, well, efficiency.
What's interesting about that one, the Fusion Tantra Counter Quickie,
Yeah.
for you, is how it blends this sort of ancient practice, Tantra.
Right, the connection, awareness.
Yeah, that heightened awareness, even in brief moments, with a very, down-to-earth, time-conscious approach. It suggests that even in a quick encounter, you can have intentional movements that really boost connection and pleasure.
And for those times, which I'm sure many of you can relate to, when maybe one partner just isn't really feeling it.
All the time.
There's the not in the mood quickie. This focuses on providing release for the partner who needs it, but maybe without requiring full-on engagement from the other.
Hmm.
It's about understanding different needs, finding ways to connect, even when your desire levels aren't, perfectly matched up.
That really speaks to the importance of empathy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Compromise in a sexual relationship. Something for you to consider in your own partnerships. It's
Mm.
not always about mutual, explosive passion. Sometimes it's about offering comfort, release, when one partner needs it more.
They even break down time-managed quickies, like specific 5- and 7-minute routines.
Well, that's specific.
Yeah. The 5-minute one, for instance, emphasizes superheated kissing, grabbing, clenching, fondling, like right from the start. It's all about immediate physical connection when every second counts for you.
It's almost like a sexual sprint, isn't it?
Mm.
Something for you to think about when you're really, really pressed for time.
Totally.
By focusing on intense, rapid stimulation right away, you're maximizing the impact in that short window. The book does make it clear, though, these aren't meant to replace, longer, more leisurely encounters,
Of course.
but they definitely serve a purpose when time is a major issue for you.
Okay, moving on to Oral Wednesdays. The book gets incredibly detailed here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a quick mention. There's a real focus on technique for both giving and receiving. We're talking a whole range of approaches you might find interesting.
Absolutely. For you, that level of detail really suggests an emphasis on oral sex as like a significant and nuanced form of intimacy. It goes way beyond just saying go down on your partner.
Right.
It offers concrete methods to enhance pleasure for both of you.
Take the new Silken Swirl, for example. This incorporates something they call the butterfly flick. This is for him. It's all about the tongue work.
Okay.
Continually circling the penis, pausing at the head, swirling your tongue around it, and then adding these light back and forth flicks across the corona. It's very specific, very deliberate, a technique for you to consider.
What's interesting about that one, the new silken swirl, thinking anatomically for you, is the awareness it shows. By focusing on the head, the corona areas packed with nerve endings,
Right.
the technique really aims to maximize stimulation in those, well, most sensitive spots for him.
And for her, there's the oral G-spot double play. This combines oral stimulation clitoris with manual stimulation of the G-spot.
The combo approach.
Yeah, and it even mentions the possibility of what some people call ejaculation during this type of orgasm, highlighting a deeper understanding of female sexual response, which you might find informative.
The oral G-spot double play really underscores, for you, that for many women, orgasm is often multifaceted, right? It involves stimulating different zones.
It's exactly.
Combining oral and manual techniques can be a really effective way to get intense pleasure for her.
Then the book throws in these sort of historical BJ examples,
Oh, really? Like what?
like Catherine the Great Special and Cleopatra's Cobra Blowjob. Now, maybe more anecdotal.
A bit tongue-in-cheek, perhaps.
Perhaps, but they add a playful historical context to the techniques, which you might find amusing. Catherine's is described as like quick, efficient, focused on mutual pleasure. Cleopatra's sounds much more elaborate, intense.
These historical nods, even if they are a bit playful, can sort of normalize things, right? Maybe add a bit of intrigue to oral sex for you. They suggest these practices have been valued, explored throughout history in different ways.
We also get into some pretty specific techniques with colorful names, like the cum shake his.
So what now?
Yeah, it even mentions specific ingredients that might affect the taste of semen, something for you to maybe file away.
Interesting.
Okay.
Culinary note there.
Or the ring and the seal, his, which is about controlling the depth during a blowjob. And for her, positions like the L-shaped cunnilingus position or techniques like the figure 8 lick are detailed.
These different techniques really highlight the book's goal, I think, to provide a wide range of options for both partners, something for you to explore, whether it's controlling depth for comfort or experimenting with different tongue movements for more sensation. The goal seems to be empowering people with specific skills.
And let's not forget those little nuggets of anatomical awareness sprinkled throughout,
Yeah, you mentioned that.
like mentioning nerve endings on the penis or the clitoral roots, really emphasizing that understanding the body can lead to more effective stimulation for you and your partner.
That anatomical knowledge is just so crucial for you. Moves beyond just general advice, right? Gives you a foundation for understanding why certain techniques might feel better than others. It's about being intentional based on how the body actually works.
Okay, turning our attention now to the pursuit of orgasm, Big O Thursdays. The book clearly puts a priority on achieving climax for both partners, something I'm sure is top of mind for many of you listening.
A major focus, you'd assume.
It addresses the different dynamics, acknowledging that often male orgasm through intercourse is maybe more straightforward than female orgasm, which frequently needs direct clitoral stimulation.
That's a really important point for you to take away. The book doesn't shy away from that common difference in orgasm frequency.
No, it tackles it.
And it actively tries to address it with specific techniques, specific strategies you can consider.
Concepts like changing the orgasm dynamic directly tackle this, aiming to maybe delay his ejaculation, speed up her arousal. It even mentions some general timelines for orgasm, framing that difference not as a problem, but as an opportunity.
Reframing again.
An opportunity to make sex last longer and feel more intense for both of you.
That reframing is key, isn't it? For you to think about in your own relationships. Instead of seeing this difference as like a hurdle,
Yeah.
it encourages a more collaborative approach. Both partners actively invested in each other's pleasure, the whole experience.
Then we get into specific techniques aimed at enhancing orgasmic experiences. For her, there's talk of her multiple O's, including compounded blended orgasms,
Right.
and techniques like the long tease or the A-frame effect for sustained cunnilingus. These are all things you might find worth exploring.
The emphasis on multiple orgasms for women is pretty significant for you to note. It highlights the physiological potential that's there
That exists, yeah.
and offers practical ways to maybe achieve it, whether through consistent stimulation or by combining different types of stimulation that work best for her.
And for both partners, there's the focus on the mental side with the secret orgasm mindset, hers. This emphasizes claiming pleasure, the power of intention, something you can both work on.
Mindset is huge.
There are also explorations of anal orgasm, his and playing her hotspots, identifying areas like the C-spot, P-zone, G-spot.
The inclusion of mental strategies really underscores for you that orgasm isn't just physical, is it?
No.
It's influenced by your mindset, that feeling of permission to enjoy pleasure. And by highlighting specific male erogenous zones beyond just the penis, the book encourages a more comprehensive approach to male pleasure too. Something for you to be aware of.
We also see go for long O tricks.
Oh.
These mentioned techniques like PC muscle control and IMSAC, which for anyone unfamiliar, is that practice of consciously controlling the urge to ejaculate.
Holding back, essentially.
As well as discussions on his second coming, achieving multiple orgasms, and the science of orgasm referencing fMRI finding.
Oh, brain scans.
Yeah, showing, fascinatingly, that all orgasms apparently look the same in the brain, regardless of how they're achieved.
The way this book mixes like a scientific understanding with practical techniques is quite notable for you. By mentioning fMRI data, it kind of validates the subjective experience of orgasm,
Right.
while also highlighting the brain's central role in sexual pleasure, no matter what you're actually doing to get there.
Finally, in this orgasm section, we have very practical tips, like the bigger O trick, #1, in your hands, stressing how important masturbation is for understanding your own body,
Knowing yourself first.
and the magic of 10, and the rule of thumb orgasm, which offer different angles on slowing down and understanding basically clitoral proximity to the vagina.
These last points really bring it back to individual awareness for you, don't they? The idea that understanding your own body is absolutely fundamental to experiencing greater pleasure with a partner.
Definitely.
That rule of thumb orgasm is a particularly interesting, almost anatomical shortcut. Helps understand potential differences in orgasmic experience during intercourse for many women.
Okay, now let's venture into the Get Your Freak on Friday section. This explores activities that are maybe a bit outside the conventional.
Right.
This is where the book really encourages a bit more adventurousness for you.
Yeah, this section is all about pushing your own boundaries, maybe. Exploring different desires you might have and injecting some real novelty into your sex life.
Shaking things up.
Shaking things up. It acknowledges that what's often called vanilla isn't the only option out there. and that exploring other aspects of sexuality can be incredibly arousing for many couples.
We see examples like erotic spanking. It emphasizes the anticipation, the sound, rather than punishment. Something to consider if you're exploring power dynamics, maybe.
The psychological element.
There are fantasy scenarios like the Lady in Pearls, role-playing ideas like the happy hooker, and explorations of the forbidden lick, which is analingus.
What's interesting about these examples for you is how they tap into different psychological things, right? Power dynamics, even if they're temporary.
Yeah.
The excitement of something a little bit taboo, the allure of fantasy. Now, the book doesn't explicitly mention communication and consent in these brief bits.
Crucial caveat.
Absolutely paramount if you're actually considering exploring these areas. That needs to be front and center.
Absolutely. The book also suggests creating a toy box, mentions various types of toys, vibrators, bondage tape, things like that.
Normalizing toys.
It touches on anal orgasm, again here, activities like body painting, tying teas, even using honey dust, described as a kissable, sensuous, edible body powder.
The inclusion of sex toys really normalizes their use, doesn't it? As tools for enhancing pleasure, exploring different sensations for you, and mentioning edible products, body painting, it highlights that strong connection between your senses and sexual arousal, offers more avenues for exploration.
Finally, in this freak on section, we see ideas like sexual truth or dare and creating a secret life, suggesting that even mental, imaginative explorations fall under this theme of venturing beyond the usual for you.
These more imaginative suggestions really underscore for you that freak on doesn't have to be like elaborate physical stuff.
Right.
It can also be about mental play, having open conversations about desires, cultivating a sense of mystery, intrigue within the relationship.
Okay, shifting gears a bit now. The Sex Ed Saturdays and Spiritual Sundays themes really bring the mental and emotional aspects of sex to the forefront. It's clearly not just about the physical act for you.
No, these sections emphasize, for you, that a truly fulfilling sex life is deeply intertwined with your mental state, the emotional connection with your partner,
Yeah, I've heard.
and even your broader sense of self. Maybe even a spiritual understanding of intimacy for some.
Under Sex Ed Saturdays, we see that concept, sex your brain, again, really reinforcing the power of mental stimulation for you.
Comes up a lot.
There's also the idea of creating your signature sex move, which surprisingly includes elements like eye gazing and synchronized breathing to enhance connection.
The inclusion of practices like eye gazing, synchronized breathing
Yeah.
within sex ed, it shows a really holistic view of sex for you,
Yeah.
one that goes beyond just mechanics.
Yeah, it's not just about the move.
Right. It suggests that cultivating intimacy, connection, those are skills you can learn and actively practice.
Spiritual Sundays delves into concepts like pussy altar and worship at your pussy altar. Now that might sound unconventional,
A bit out there, maybe.
but it really reflects a theme of body positivity, reverence maybe, something for you to consider. We also see references to Arab sex positions, Chinese sex, via pillow books, highlighting diverse cultural approaches to intimacy throughout history.
These references to historical cultural perspectives can really broaden your understanding of sexuality. They suggest that what we think of as normal or even spiritual is often shaped by culture, right?
Totally.
And exploring different traditions can offer you new insights, new perspectives on intimacy.
Both Sex Ed Saturdays and Spiritual Sundays touch on how important communication is for you. Ideas like telling secrets, confessing desires, breaking down the pleasure barriers, which emphasizes quieting that active mind that can sometimes get in the way.
The overthinking brain.
Yeah, and the concept of the desire curve is introduced, acknowledging that natural ebb and flow of passionate desire in long-term relationships, something many of you probably experience.
That focus on open communication and understanding the natural shifts in desire, it's absolutely crucial for you to maintain intimacy over time. It encourages having those sometimes tricky conversations, setting realistic expectations within your relationship.
Finally, the book consistently emphasizes for you the importance of adding variety, novelty, really combating predictability, which it calls a significant desire killer.
It's a running theme.
A theme running through all these different days, really.
Absolutely. For you, this book acts like a constant source of new ideas, new perspectives. It's an antidote to falling into a rut, keeping things fresh, exciting in your sex life.
We see just a wealth of examples for introducing novelty, from simple things like double entendres and coffee,
Little things.
or thigh-high kissing, to more involved scenarios like role-playing, suggesting the stranger at the dinner table, porn stars, or revisiting the happy hooker.
These examples really illustrate for you that novelty doesn't have to be some grand, complex production.
Yep.
It can be as simple as a suggestive comment over breakfast or a playful change in what you wear. The key is introducing that element of surprise, consciously breaking away from those established patterns you might have fallen into.
The book also suggests for you incorporating sex toys, even just tweaking your usual signature moves, creating a quickie kit for spontaneous moments,
Be prepared.
using movies or dance styles like Dirty Dancing, tango as inspiration, and even unexpected little acts like lick an instep,
Okay.
or showering together with maybe a non-sexual pretense that just might lead somewhere else.
These diverse suggestions really highlight the many different ways for you to introduce novelty, engaging different senses, creating new shared experiences. It's about being intentional, really, about keeping that spark alive in your relationship.
So as we kind of come up for air from this deep dive into the Daily Sex Bible, what would you say are some of the key takeaways for our listener, for you?
Key takeaways. I think the main themes that really stand out for you are, first, the value of having a structured approach to exploration. Using those theme days as a framework
A deliberate framework.
for consciously weaving different aspects of intimacy into your week. Then, the important idea that efficient intimacy, like quickies, can be genuinely satisfying when you approach it with intention.
Right.
The detailed focus on oral sex as a rich, varied source of pleasure. The multifaceted nature of orgasm and how crucial it is to understand both the physical and mental elements involved.
The mind-body connection.
Definitely. The clear encouragement to step outside conventional practices, explore a wider range of sexual expression that might resonate with you. The absolutely vital role of the mind and emotional connection in really enhancing intimacy. And finally, that ongoing emphasis on introducing novelty to keep your sexual relationship vibrant, exciting.
And for you, our listener, maybe some actionable advice. Take a moment, reflect on some of the techniques, the concepts we've touched on. Did one or two in particular sort of spark your interest?
Yeah, what stood out?
Consider how you might actually introduce them into your own experiences. Remember, this isn't about feeling pressure to try everything. It's more about expanding your understanding and ultimately your enjoyment.
Exactly. Pick one or two ideas that really caught your attention, and just think about how they might fit into your relationship. The ultimate goal here for you is enhanced understanding, greater pleasure, approached with curiosity, open communication with your partner.
So finally, here's a thought to leave you with. Reflecting on all these diverse approaches we've explored, what personal signature sex move might you begin to develop? Really focusing on both the physical technique and those deeper elements of connection and pleasure that are important to you. Or maybe considering that interplay between physical techniques and mental states the Daily Sex Bible talks about, how might consciously shifting your own mindset actually enhance even those familiar sexual experiences for you? Think about this as an ongoing journey. Sexual discovery, communication. Until next time, keep exploring what brings you pleasure.